Long enough to cover the subject and short enough to keep it interesting. Welcome to Outta My League. I'm Nick Diaz. Have any of you ever worked out or gone on a run before or a jog, whatever? Now, most of you probably have, even if it's just been a while. But most of you know that the hardest thing to do with working out is, nope, not getting started. It's getting into a rhythm. Getting into a routine, making that running or working out a habit. That's really the hardest thing to do in my experience. Now, the easiest way to get rid of that habit or to prevent that routine or that rhythm is to take too many breaks in between a workout, or you're taking too long of a break between running, or you take too many days off in between that workout or that run. It will ultimately disrupt your rhythm. Now, many coaches throughout my life, they will tell you everything we do matters. The dress code you need to have for game day, that matters. How do you do your warm-ups? That matters. How you celebrate with your teammates, that matters. And the reason why you have to do all these things and the reason why coaches preach that, it's basic psychology. It's to help keep you in the right frame of mind. You know, the moment I knew that Will Wade was going to be a good hire for LSU, it was actually before his opening press conference. It was before I even looked at his resume completely. I mean, I knew his record at VCU, but I didn't know his record at Chattanooga. Before I looked at anything else, someone showed me a clip of him at VCU the day before his introductory press conference, where he was commenting about two of his players getting in trouble for not doing things the right way.
But we had two guys who didn't wear VCU-issued gear on the flight. They wore their own stylish, whatever it may be. Well, that's selfishness. You could say, oh, it doesn't really matter. No, that stuff matters. Well, I wasn't there to pick up one. By the time I saw it, it was that night at shoot-around, and there's nothing really you can do about it. But, if we get on the bus to go to Old Dominion and you're not in VCU gear, your ass is going right back to the dorm and the bus is leaving. I don't care. I don't care who it is. Because we're not going to win with you because you're in the total wrong frame of mind when you get on the bus.
You can't take a break for 1 second. Not 1 second. Because if you do, you're more likely to lose the rhythm. You'll lose your correct mindset. Now, I understand that there are some things as sports broadcasters, sports talk shows, and sports podcasters that our perspective has always been be more reasonable, logical, and talk and communicate with the fan base. That's our job. That's the media in sports. They are the direct line of contact that coaches and players have to their fans. So we always say, no need to panic in baseball. The season isn't over just because you lost a midweek game. You are essentially serving the fan base as a media member. And I try to do that too with you. I try to say, keep logical, keep reasonable, all those things. So for years, when you've heard people debate, do midweek games actually matter? You, the fan, have gotten a very media-driven perspective. Not because they're trying to deceive you, not because they're trying to give you a bunch of bullshit necessarily. They're just trying to calm you down and give you the reasonable, logical take that is most likely going to happen with every team. But what you miss is the coach's perspective, that everything you do matters. So why wouldn't a game matter? Jay Johnson, he's about to find out tomorrow what the controversy, air quotes, of midweek games are when it comes to LSU baseball. But according to Jay Johnson, there is no controversy about midweek games. There is no middle ground. There is no shade of gray. Because Jay Johnson was asked about it earlier today about his thoughts about midweek games, and he said, quote, "It's the most important game of the season, and I don't differentiate between that for a number of reasons. The first reason being, I think you are trying to create self-discipline and focus on the task at hand. The task at hand is this game. The second reason being, when you look at the external factors, the RPI doesn't differentiate between conference and non-conference." Thank you! You can't just stop working out during the middle of the week and expect to get stronger. You can't stop running in the middle of the week and expect to actually get faster Well, we've got Florida next week, and then the week after that, we've got Mississippi State. But in between that, we play Southern on Tuesday. Yeah, we're just going to play grab ass on that day because who needs the practice against Southern, right? We'll probably still win. Funny. Well, if that's the attitude that you're going to have about an actual game, then I need everyone to stop complaining about, well, why are we as good as we were in the 90s when we had Skip Bertman? Why aren't we as consistent as we were when we had Skip Bertman? That's all I've heard for the last 17 years. Well, I'll tell you one reason why. Skip Bertman tells a story in the early days at LSU that he was still getting to know the conference and everyone in it. And when he would first go on the road to a place, he could tell getting off the bus if LSU was going to win that game or not. Because most SEC schools at the time, believe it or not, they had better and newer and nicer and fancier facilities than LSU did at that specific time. All the expensive stuff would be paid for. The bleachers, the new paint, the dirt, the grass, all that stuff would be beautiful. But then LSU would go into the batting cages for practice, and Skip would look at the opposing team's nets in those cages to see if they were ripped or if they were tidied up. And if they were ripped, Skip would look over to his assistant coaches and say, we're going to beat their ass today. Because the new dirt, the new bleachers, the new paint, the new grass, all very expensive. And all of that was fancy shit that was inherited to the coaches. But one of the cheapest things that you can do are get new nets for your batting cages. And the only reason why you don't have new nets in your batting cages is because you, the coach, lack attention to detail and everything doesn't matter to you. And more times than not, Skip Bertman was right. LSU would win those games. I understand LSU baseball is not going to go undefeated. I understand that you have bad games. Not everyone can play perfect every single day. There is no such thing as perfection. And yes, if you put a gun to my head and made me choose, yeah, I'd rather lose every midweek game and then go undefeated in SEC play than I would win every midweek game and lose every SEC series. Sure, that's being reasonable and logical. But please, this is so refreshing to have a coach who understands just show up and try to make it matter. Everything you do matters. Have that intensity. At least pretend this is the most important game. Fake it till you make it. Practice competition in between weeks so you don't lose that sense of competition the next SEC series. Just like you don't lose muscle in between weeks when you say, I'm just going to work out on Saturday and Sunday and Friday. Well, you're not getting stronger. You're just staying the same. And even if you have a bad workout, or even if you lose a midweek game, that's not the point. Because the only bad workout is the workout you didn't try to do. Thanks for listening to Out of My League. If you like what you heard, be sure to like, share, and subscribe, or follow me on Twitter and Facebook in the description link below.